Okay, today I wanted to answer a question. It is a topic that's come up quite a bit again recently. The question basically is, are pro-lifers the enemy? So my quick answer is yes. But I do want to take some time to make distinctions and clarify. I think this question is layered, right? There's different levels of culpability. There's different layers of troubles and problems that they cause. And it's not all equal. But my short answer is yes. So let's talk about some of these various layers. And the distinctions I want to make is, first I want to talk about pro-life doctrine, which I believe to be anti-Christian, anti-just. I think it is an abomination that justifies the wicked. I think it's satanic. And I want to compare that to the biblical doctrine of abolition. And then from there, I want to discuss pro-life organization heads, leadership, religious institution leadership, platformed religious leaders, legislators, lobbyists, people that know that really push their doctrine. And then I want to just talk about the average person, because I think each of these stages, we should handle them differently. Some because of knowledge and understanding where they're at. And then others because of the deceit and the lies that go behind it. And each of these layers, they have a different amount of impact against the equal justice of preborn humans, treating all humans justly, applying the same laws of murder or criminal homicide, and prosecuting all co-conspirators, accomplices, principal actors in homicide, and judging each individual case on the merits and evidence of that case. Pro-life doctrine itself runs against justice. Now they do, or they can, say some things that are right. Children are created in the image of God. Not all of them say that, but some of them will admit that. But we do not have, the same language that we talk about, but we also do not have the same goals. Now, there is a spectrum within the pro-life establishment, but the doctrine itself is not the same. The application of the doctrine is not the same. So doctrinally, we are in opposition one to another. And one thing that's been really good about the Dobbs case, which has been about 1 year almost, in a couple of days, is that it really has exposed, at least doctrinally, the differences in the goals of the pro-life establishment, in distinction or contradistinction to that of abolitionism. It really has shown that doctrinally there is a difference between seeking justice, equal justice for all humans, and a desire to place a burden on a woman's access to abortion in the formal healthcare system. So doctrinally, the pro-life establishment does not seek justice. It does not seek to apply the same laws of homicide to preborn children that it does to all other humans. Pro-life doctrine does not seek to adjudicate all crimes of criminal homicide against all parties involved. Pro-life doctrine does not seek to judge each individual case of criminal homicide based off of the evidence of that individual case. But what it seeks to do is to close abortion healthcare centers. It seeks to regulate abortion as healthcare and place a burden on a woman's access to that type of healthcare in the healthcare system. It does not seek to treat the unjust killing of preborn humans justly in the same way that other criminal homicide cases are adjudicated. Now, there is a spectrum within the pro-life establishment that holds to various forms of this doctrine. Some of them are a little bit more strict than others, and there will be a few, and some are transitioning to more of the smash mouth incrementalism. And there are some that are willing to now entertain the idea that women that unjustly kill their own preborn children are not necessarily all victims. That maybe some of them ought to be tried. But those are few and far between. The vast majority hold to the pro-life doctrine that wants to equivocate and say that abortion is murder. Some of them. It's at least killing a human. But they are unwilling to provide justice in the laws for that killing. So doctrinally, we are at odds with each other. My position is that abortion is the unjust killing of a human, and that all cases of unjust killing of humans ought to be adjudicated by the evidence of that case. So whether it's a poisoning, a stabbing, a shooting, driving over someone. Every single case should be judged on the merits of that case. Whether you kill your brother, your sister, a stranger, your own child, or your own preborn child. Now, each case ought to be adjudicated on the circumstances and the evidence of that case. So not all criminal homicide is equal. And some people will be acquitted, and some people will be found guilty. But the laws that govern that need to be applied equally to all participants of all types of criminal homicide. So pro-life doctrine is at odds with abolition. And so doctrinally, there's enmity. We don't want the same thing. We're not after the same goal. And in fact, their doctrine causes them to be the ones that strike down equal justice bills. For every abolition bill, equal justice bill that's been put forth, it has been the pro-life establishment that has killed these bills, that has spoken out against justice. So doctrinally, we are enemies. Now, I would put the lion's share of the culpability on people that know, that are lobbyists, pro-life organization heads, religious leaders that are platformed, that are very staunchly pro-life, denomination leaders, lobbyists. For example, the head of the ERLC, Barber from the Southern Baptists, Scott Klusendorf, the lady that runs Students for Life, Christine Hawkins. These people, they know their doctrine. They know our doctrine. And they actively oppose justice. A lot of times there is slander and lies and deception that they do against abolition, against the doctrine of abolition, against adherents of abolition, what these laws do and do not do. There is a lot of lies, slander, and deception by these people in opposition to justice. There's also lies and deception in what they are promoting. For example, this new U.S. House resolution that's being pushed by Live Action News and other organizations, called an Equal Justice Resolution, equal justice for all humans. They are stealing that language and then not applying justice equally to all humans. They are using that language in a way to place a burden on a woman's access to abortion in the formal health care system, and then exempting a whole class of people because they are the mothers that killed their own preborn children. They still want to give sanction and permission. Well, okay, maybe that's a bad choice of word. It's not they still want to. Their actions and the laws that they promote continue to give sanction, give official government permission for women to kill their own preborn children for any reason that they want to up until birth. That's what happens when you exclude a whole demographic from justice. That is not equal justice. So they are lying, they are being deceitful when they are pushing for a resolution that they call equal justice that does not provide equal justice. It's a lie. I've also been getting several emails this week about trying to push for a new equal justice for preborns amendment. And again, it would be doing the same thing that this U.S. House resolution would be doing. Putting it into the Constitution that we need to consider preborn humans as legal persons under the law. That God has endowed on them the same rights that He has to all humans that are created equal. And as they do that, write exceptions for the prosecution of mothers, as long as it's their own preborn child that they killed. So these lobbyists, the pro-life organization heads, and some are worse than others. Some have more culpability than others. Some are more slanderous than others. Some lie more than others. Religious leaders like Bart Barber or the ERLC Brett Leatherwood or any of these other religious leaders that have a platform that speak out against justice. The amount of influence that they have as they knowingly spread lies about what equal justice is. They are definitely way more culpable and are the enemy to abolition. They are the ones that rally together against justice at the Capitol when an abolition bill comes up. They are the ones that behind the doors and publicly go speak to the legislators, telling them not to sign on or remove their sponsorship of equal justice bills. They're the ones that write letters and campaign against justice. So yes, they as people are an enemy to justice. And then we get to the people that they have influence over. Whether they're Christian or just people out there that support pro-life causes. Many of them have not done their due diligence and looked into the issue. So shame on them. Sure. They're just listening to what these talking heads are saying. And so they're supporting these organizations, these religious leaders, these ideas, because they're being told that we want to save babies, that we want to protect lives, which sounds like good things. And a lot of them just do not understand what pro-life doctrine says, nor what abolition doctrine says. But they still support these lobbyists, these legislators, these religious leaders, these pro-life organizations, and the pro-life organization heads. And their lack of knowledge and support for enemy causes still makes them an enemy. They are on a different side. Now, as we go out and try to educate people, many of them, when they come to understand and see the difference, a lot of times I hear, oh, I thought that's what these people were doing. I thought that is what they wanted. I thought they wanted to treat preborn humans equally under the law. So we're seeing a massive shift in that group of people that supported enemy doctrine, that supported anti-just legislators, that supported anti-just religious leaders and pro-life organizations, because they didn't know. But as they're coming to understand, they are leaving that because A, it's not biblical, B, there's a sense of being lied to, being deceived, being sold a bill of goods using flowery, good language about trying to do something good, but clothed underneath with anti-justice, darkness. And it really is evil. So I think as the general population, the average Christian in the pew that has not done their due diligence on this, as they come to understand truth, and come to understand what pro-life doctrine is saying, what they are doing, they're starting to recognize that what they thought is not the same thing. And so that's a good thing. And we should be praying for them. We should be praying for repentance for everyone, including ourselves. So that's my long answer. Yes, we are enemies. We're fighting for different things. Our doctrine is different. Their leadership within the different parts, even though there's a spectrum of what they believe and what they're doing, they are anti-just. The things they say are anti-Christian. The things that they are doing are an abomination. They are enemies. But that doesn't mean that they can't be friends. So that's what we ought to do. Lean into them, pray for them, speak truth to them, and hope that God grants them kindness and repentance. I hope this was helpful. Leave me some comments, and I will be back soon with another video.